rejection is inevitable and is a part of life. No matter how good you are, you will get rejections in business or in personal life. Instead of viewing each rejection as a personal knockback, you can use them to develop your negotiation or pitching skills. You have to adjust and adapt within seconds and to be on the same wavelength as your potential customers. You can have the best product in the world, but nobody will notice it if you don't have marketing, if you don't have someone who is willing to sell it. When you leave a call without next steps, you made a mistake. So you summarize everything and then set the clear next step.
Today we have a special guest, Blago, who will talk about sales and business development, which is an important part in startups, especially if you target business-to-business clients. And that's the first time we are talking about sales, which makes me very excited. It's a topic that fascinates me, but in the same time, I have some fears or insecurities in sales. So I'm really excited to learn new things about sales. Hi, Blago. Could you tell me a little bit about your sales and business development experience?
Yes, of course. So I have about 20 years. So I'm 38, and I have about 20 years in sales and business development throughout countries like Bulgaria, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and I worked all over Europe, in person and online. So the things that I did are from A to Z. That means the whole BD and sales cycle, from pre-sales to cold calls to in-person sales to contract negotiations to finishing the contracts to making an offer to accepting or rejecting an offer. Every part of the sales of the BD cycle I have worked in. So
Yeah.
I have the 360 in sales and BD.
Yeah, with BD, you mean business development.
Business development, yeah. The business development part, yes.
Which includes all the sales steps. It's called sales. Pre-sales, what is that?
The pre-sales is like a department which is doing the heavy lifting for the sales. That means the cold calls, the approaching of potential customers, and then if they have something like a lead, they put it in the direction of the sales, and the sales is getting the lead and has to follow the lead and try to make a sale. But the pre-sales department is for me the most important department because it's the hard work. This is the department that you have to be good and you have to have nerves from steel.
Yes, for me it sounds really difficult to have those cold calls because you call to people who don't expect a call, and many of them might even be like annoyed or don't like you get so many rejections. How did it feel in the beginning for you, and how did it change?
So the first cold calls are always you get sweaty and you feel insecure. You really feel insecure because first you are not sure, you're not 100% sure what you are doing, no matter how good they trained you in the first month or in 3 weeks or 1 week, depending on the business. You cannot get confidence without making it. No matter how good you are, you're not 100% sure because there are gonna be questions that you don't know how to answer. Every time you cold call some potential client, it's gonna get exactly the other way that you hoped, because you think, okay, I have here my script and I'm solid, but 50%, 60% of the time you get something that is not in your script. And then you get the sweat and then you don't know how to dodge the bullet, you don't know what to say, and you will lose customers because of that in the beginning. And this is something that you have to go through. It can be taught in a sales training. It is impossible. It's about emotional intelligence, it's about confidence, and it's about product knowledge. So you have to know what you're selling or the service that you're selling. You have to know what it is. The most important part is how to lose fear and excitement from sales. So first you have to know, this is the most important part for me for the start. Rejection is inevitable. I'm gonna say it one more time. Rejection is inevitable and is a part of life. No matter how good you are, you will get rejections in business or in personal life. But when there are targets to meet and careers to make, the pressure to succeed can even feel greater. So you have more. Of course, wanting to avoid being turned down is perfectly normal and natural. It's important to know that each representative, each sales representative will react and handle these situations differently. For example, one, it will be more calm, will take a deep breath and then shake off the rejections before they hitting to the next call or the next prospect. Another rep will take it personally and let their anxiety impact their next calls or meetings. Some of the guys get also aggressive, small percentage of them. So as a leader, as a sales leader or a team leader, it's up to you to help those sales representatives shape their thinking to reduce the fear of rejection. So you have to lose your fear of rejection. I will mention a couple practical advices. Show your team or show yourself when you don't have a team how your products or services really help customers. No matter what you're selling, see for yourself or teach your salespeople how your products or services really help your customers. You can help them with sharing evidence of success stories, customer successes to prove your products or services help real people and companies in the everyday life. In this way, you can get them excited about delivering value. So it's not delivering something bad or a scam. I am delivering value that will help people or companies in the day-to-day business life. So you have to have a more positive mindset to help them succeed. One other advice is some representatives, maybe most of them, but will feel uncomfortable with trying to convince people into spending money. Some of the people are not okay with convincing other people into spending money, so they have to work to reframe their thinking into a positive mindset, like I said. For example, create and distribute case studies of your product, and this will give positive case studies. So 8 out of 10 say this is the, for example, the best pillow that I slept on. It's comfortable. So 8 out of 10 are okay and are very happy. So you're selling something good. This will give the representative confidence that they're offering something of value and help them sell better to your specific groups. And they can use also real customer success stories.
So
Yeah.
it's important for you, for a startup owner, for entrepreneur, to show the salespeople in his team, if he has sales team, how great the product actually is, so that the team members are more confident in
Mhm.
selling those products. And it's probably also the same if the entrepreneur doesn't have anyone to sell for him, but even for himself, if he emphasizes, like looks at the positive aspects of his product, then he also feels much better selling his own products.
Yes, no matter if you have a team or you're a startup, you're alone. You don't have a team yet. It's important to understand that the things that I'm doing are okay, are valuable, and the customers have to have that information and understand that they are getting something that is valuable. The things that you can do, no matter if you're one guy or you have a team, you can make sales trainings like workshops. You can go to workshops, or if you have a team, you can make a workshop with your team. You can see videos on the internet, for example, yeah, like your podcast will. You can go see guest speakers. They have also ready speeches, presentation that can help you, that can drive your confidence. You can make role play exercises with some relative or some friend with your team. And there are so many free learning resources. like I said, videos, presentation, ebooks, everything. We have so many free things that you can learn, but you just have to own it. So then the next very important thing is you have to teach yourself, or you have to teach your team how to talk, which words you actually will use according to your business. So in this case, the things that I'm doing it a little bit old school way. I'm getting a paper and a pen, and I start to make a script. That means the script that will actually guide your talk. You'll see that after 100 or 150 calls or meetings, you don't have to see the script anymore. It's already in your head, and the words that you're using will be there. So you have to teach yourself which words you have to use from the start, so that you are looking confident, that you will look like you know what you're doing. The wording is very important for a startup or for building a successful team. So in every particular business project, the wording is very important. So then one more time, you have to understand the sales rejection isn't personal. You don't have to take rejections like the rejections will limit your self-worth, or take them as reflection of their. So the people are bad and they said bad things to me. They said, I don't want to talk to you, or Mr. Smith is not available, boom, and hanging up the phone. You don't have to take like, oh, I'm doing it bad, so they don't want to speak with me, maybe I did something wrong. No, you did nothing wrong. It's simply a natural part of sales and business development. It's a natural part of sales and business development. This is the algorithm of sales. You cannot change it.
So everyone has to go through this
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
So you prepare a script and then you practice it so
yes,
that it doesn't look like you are reading from a script.
yes,
And I guess the reason is also because the beginning or certain aspects of the sales call, they have to be on point, because the person on the other end, he doesn't or she doesn't have the patience to listen to you how you are not coming to the point. So that's why it's important in the beginning to have a script, isn't it?
exactly. You're 100% right. And you will change your script according to the calls that you make. It's also a natural thing because, oh, this word that I used, I made 4 or 5 calls. I see the people don't get it here, but they stop me exactly on that spot. Maybe I use a different word. Maybe I'll sell another sentence here. And then you and make a new sentence, and you see, wow, with the new sentence, they're letting me talk. Or and you see that your script will improve with the calls that you made, with the prospect that you lose, that you go to the next step. You will see that you improve your script, and then at the end you have a script that is so solid. Every word is like boom in the bullseye. You don't have to change anymore. So like I said, just to clear it one more, fear of rejection is a natural instinct, but every sales representative or a startup has to learn to deal with it. Like you said, instead of viewing each rejection as a personal knockback, you can use them to develop your negotiation or pitching skills. Your pitch is very important. So we are on to our next step: how to make a business development plan. What is
Yeah. Maybe before we go to the
Maybe if you have
next
some
step,
questions, yes.
I have two questions. So, first question, what do you think? How important is the talent for sales? Are there some people who are not able to be like good salespeople, or can everyone become a quite decent salesperson?
To be honest, to be exactly honest, my this is my view. From the life I gained, not everyone can be a salesperson. This is
Mhm.
my view. You can make the best learning exercises. You can make all the things that I did mention before, the workshops, the videos, that everything. You can give them the script, but when they not having in it, they cannot be salesperson. So in order to be a sales guy, you have to have social skills. You have to have a smile. uh, People are also sensing when you smile on the phone. It's like, what is talking about? Smiling on the phone, nobody sees that. People can sense that. People can sense that you're smiling on the phone. People can sense your energies. And not everyone is, there are people who are more closed. So they're not, they cannot be very good salespeople and they're not comfortable doing that. You have to like to talk, you have to like to talk to people, and you have to be sure. Okay, I noticed I made a mistake, I said here something that I shouldn't said, but okay, I'm gonna say, okay, I made a mistake. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, and I didn't mean it, I just wanted to say. And yeah, and the people say, okay, he or she is honest. And this is the definition of sales, to sell yourself for people that say, okay, this guy is someone that I can trust. He's
Mm.
a reliable guy. I can trust this guy. He is not like only saying we are the best and my product is the best and my services is the best and we have everything so good. Nobody is better than us. No, don't, no one will believe that. You have to say, okay, these are our plus points. We have also, yeah, we have also minus points, but this is something that we can talk about. We are not so good in this part, maybe the technical part. We are one step behind the big corporation, but we have a better price, or you can have a guy that is responsible for your account. You don't get a machine or a chatbot. And yeah, you have to see what are your advantages.
Yes. So is it a combination in a sales call? You should try on the one hand talk about your product and the qualities and the features, but also on the other hand to establish a relationship and rapport with the prospect.
Yes, I think the most important part is to break the ice and establish the quick as it gets a relationship. It is very difficult because people don't trust strangers on the phone or on LinkedIn that copy pasting messages. But you have to show that you are different in a positive way. You have to show that you're someone that can be trusted. This is the most important part. You're actually your first thing is not you selling your product or services. The first thing is you have to create a relationship with this person, so he or she will see me as a human being, not somebody who wants their money or who wants to take their time.
So you said you need a script. What is the percentage, like approximate percentage of the salesperson speaking and listening?
In my opinion, it does not have a perfect strategy. You have to go within seconds and adjust to your potential customer. There is no I'm gonna talk 40 and then I'm gonna hear 60. There is no I'm gonna shut up and let the potential customer talk. This is my honest advice from the heart. You have to adjust and adapt within seconds and to be on the same wavelength as your potential customers. This is the best advice that I can give. It's important to talk. It's also important to really hear what they're saying, not only to hear it and don't realize it. You have to hear it and realize it. But the most important thing for me is you have to adapt and adjust within seconds and be exactly the guy that the potential customer want you to be. in,
Yes.
in
So
this in this moment, just to
you
gain his attention.
I've seen a good salesperson. I think he is a good salesperson. And I saw two things. One thing is, whatever people asked him, he could come up with an answer very quickly. For me, I need like a time to process this information, all this information, and then it takes much longer time. But for him, it's like out of a pistol. And the second thing is, he was adjusting himself. So he in Germany, in the south part of Germany, when he was talking with those people with the small dialect, he even was able to have this dialect, which was very strange for him because we were always talking normal German, and suddenly he could switch even like to be on the same dialect. So that's pretty incredible.
Yes, this is the right way, exactly what I was trying to say. You have to adjust.
And probably some people, yeah, they are it's much easier for them to adjust, to be quick-witted, like to answer quickly.
So you have to know your portfolio, you have to have emotional intelligence, and you have to have knowledge of the world or your potential customers. Uh, s- for example, it's one thing when you go in Switzerland, it's another when you go in Germany,
Yes.
in Austria. They have different slogans that you make break the ice. They have different sayings and different quotes that are local, and you can break the ice with that. So you don't use something from the US to break the ice in Austria or the other way around. You have to know your potential customers. Maybe you can, before you have a meeting or before you have a call, you can Google it in 30 seconds or 40 seconds to see, oh, where they are placed. Oh, okay, is there something in this region? Is there a monument or something that is very famous? Or is it hot there? Is it warm at the moment? Is it cold? How you doing in this one there? I saw it's very cold.
Yeah, or
I
you
would
could
say something warm to you. You have to adapt.
you
Yes.
could also
Yeah.
check the LinkedIn profile and see which kind of hobbies they have or interests. And then if you have the same hobbies, then you have something in common, and that's also make it more sympathical.
Yes. Yes. So I can see you have trained karate. I did it. I have black belt, or I see you have a marketing masterclass. I have the same masterclass as you on my LinkedIn profile. Something that is in common. People are reacting and searching and finding friends or customers when they have something in common.
Yes.
This is the natural way of the human nature. It's also very important to know a little bit the human nature to be good at sales. The human
Yeah.
nature, how people react, what drives them, how the money is circulating, and etc. You have to know that you need time. You cannot make a deal in cold call in
Mm.
one day, and you'll get the money in 3 days. You have to have time. You have to invest in those relationships, and it's very hard, and it's getting more hard by the day. But once you get to the final and the people trust you, and you make then a really good job, because you have to make also a really good job after that, and you can have them for years, these relationships. So it's very important.
Yeah, that's why sales is such an effective kind of like a channel to acquire clients, especially bigger clients, because the facts they can read online. That's not what the main goal of a sales oftentimes is, I guess. But to establish a relationship, to establish trust, that's where sales are shining, kind of.
Yes.
So, and for entrepreneurs who struggle with sales and who think they are not made for sales, especially like if you are introvert, if you are more like a programmer creating amazing software, but you really don't like to have so like human interaction or especially sales interaction with people you don't know, then probably you should try to hire someone to help you, to assist you with sales. There are plenty like of sales people out there. You can hire them as a freelancer for a few hours a week if you can't afford like a full-time job. And there probably you need to consider certain aspects which could also be considered as business development probably. So how to find the right people and how to plan everything so that they make the best out of their time, and then how to control what they are doing if they are doing a good job. Could you talk about that?
Yeah,
Please.
I can talk about that. In our example, when you're introvert and you you have a company, you're a developer, you have a nice product, a nice IT product. You can have the best product in the world, but nobody will notice it if you don't have marketing, if you don't have someone who is willing to sell it. And in order to sell it, someone has to speak about it and make connections and try to convince people, like we talk, to convince people to spend their money. So one thing, like you mentioned, is you can hire someone on a B2B basis or freelancer, or someone who can, if you think you can do a little bit sales, someone who can in a couple hours say something to you, or who can teach you in a week or something, or you hire someone. Or the other thing that you can do is to try to find people like you who are in different companies and try to talk to them. So a developer like to speak to developer, they trust other developer. So you're not a good sales guy, it's fine. Every human being has his talent, and that's perfect fine. That's why we are so different, and with all the talents in the world, the thing that someone can do is just to try to talk to people with similar views. So with CTOs, chief technical officers, team leads that are like you, and try to work with them if this is okay. And about the second part, if you hire some sales, you can say to them what you really need, how many leads you want, what do you exactly want, do you have a target audience, uh, do you have potential customers that are very important to you, that you want in all cases to contact. So the most important first, it depends on the business, it depends on the BD plan. You have to have a business development plan. How do I get my company to be worth something? How do I get money? How do I get people to work for me? How do everything? You have to have a business development plan about the whole thing that you want to make.
It's probably also makes the life of the salesperson much easier if you have a great product and a good match to the right target audience.
Very important. Yes, this is the
Yeah.
when when you sell, for example, tomatoes to tomato farms is not so good.
Do you have some stories of where you had a really like not optimal business development plan from your like employer or who hired you? And yeah,
Stories. Everyone has such stories who worked in some kind of the sales or business development, no matter pre-sales, after sales, no matter cold calls. Everyone has these things. Those managers that say, "Okay, this is the Excel sheet. You can call them all." Most of the time, they are not 100% verified, and most of the time, the people really don't want this that you're offering. Some of them don't have the money for it. They are too small, they are too big, and they have their own system or service. So you don't have to call them and try to sell them something that they have for 10 years. This is the most important part. The To make a really good business development plan, you have to make a very good target audience that you can put in. They may be 50, but there are 100% the things that are potentially your partners or customers. So you have to invest time in researching those potential clients. This is you will invest time, but you will save time and money afterwards,
yeah.
because when you do your research right, you say, oh, okay, here I cannot help here, or maybe they are too big, or maybe they are too small, and you just don't put them in your list, and then you save time.
Did you have those situations? Maybe you can tell a story or something where you said, "Okay, I cannot help you. It's just not possible."
Yes, I have many stories, but try to think one that is exactly in this topic. There are actually everyday stories in the big companies, because the big companies have so many leads, and then they don't have time to search for them all. They're so big, and you get a sheet and you try to do your best, and you see that those leads cannot go further. They cannot go to a meeting. They cannot go to an offer or a closing or something, or making a revenue. And you try to say, okay, those leads are not okay, we have to have different leads. And you get an answer, no, those are the leads and you have to call them, so the problem is with you. And this is something that you have to know, that first you have to see, do I make really mistakes? You have to see it from a neutral point of view. And when you say, okay, I'm not making any mistakes, my script is evolved, I'll do the right thing, I know my portfolio, but I don't get any leads, that means there is something broken in the chain of events. So the leads are not your leads. So you have to talk to your manager, or if you're a startup, you have to make a new lead list. It's called the lead list, and you have to research more.
Do you have experience with creating such lists with leads?
Yes, like I said, we can talk here from A to Z and this and that, but I will try to put it in a couple of sentences. And I like to explain and do things simple. I'm absolutely sure that with simplicity, you can achieve your goals in sales and business development. When you do something more more harder, you get more room for mistakes. This is something that I really saw in my life. You have to do it the most simple way that is possible. So do your market research, establish clear and realistic goals, find potential customers, and put them in your CRM, or if you don't have a CRM, put them in your Excel sheet and start approaching. That's it. So you can use all different sales channel. For that, I have experience. For like you asked me, I have experience with creating lead lists, and I created them, like I said, the most simple way. I researched them. I saw, for example, when you create a lead list, most of the companies have companies in different countries. That means you have to think how to approach them. Do I approach the company that is in my country, or should I approach direct the mother company that is, for example, somewhere in the West? You can try. I have different stories. I saw with my experience that when you call companies that are subsidiaries in your country, most of the time you don't have any huge success, because the subsidiaries have to ask the central mother companies for budgeting, for do they need this. It's so you can try. This is a hack that I noticed in my. You can try to call the central of the company. People are reliable there. You can via the contact center, or you can use the channels that are given on the internet, and you can say, can I talk to someone, and to try to land a really good lead in your country when you go through the center of the company. Because when they say, oh, this is Blago, he's a really nice guy, can you make a meeting to them, and the company in your country will make this meeting. So sometimes you can win through calling the mother company in a different country, and try through the mother company to take a lead from your country. This happened to me tens of times. For example, yeah, I call in Bulgaria. We don't need
Mm.
nothing. Then I call in, for example, in Germany, and I say, oh, I saw you have a. I'm from Bulgaria. I lived in Germany. I saw you have a subsidiary there. Can you give me some contact of your subsidiary, maybe a name or a phone that can help me? And they give me it. Then I call in my country, in Bulgaria, and I say, this is very important to say it. I called in Germany, or I called in Austria, and Mr. Smith or Mr. Schmidt gave me your name and your number and said we can talk about sales or a product or my service, and then you have a meeting. So this is it works, believe me. Yeah.
So you can use Google, you can also use Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, and there are probably some other specialized tools where you can find certain contacts.
Yes, the I think the most reliable leads are with LinkedIn and with Sales Navigator. These are you can filter. Okay, it is you have to pay for that, but you have all the filters that you need. You have to email. You have everything that you need. You have. I mean, the Sales Navigator is working for you at an extent that you cannot filter it by yourself. The LinkedIn Sales Navigator or LinkedIn Recruiter or whatever you use in your company for business development is the most is the best tool that is on the market, and you get from LinkedIn the most reliable leads because people are there with their CV, with their name, with their face, with their company position. So my advice is to use that.
Yes, you can filter everything.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it by just browsing through LinkedIn or browsing through Google. It's amazing. I have been using it as well a little bit. So let's imagine the entrepreneur. He's a good software developer. He hired a salesperson. How does the entrepreneur recognize that it's a bad salesperson?
First of all, he can start from the beginning. First of all, he can see his CV. He can see his LinkedIn account. He can maybe he has a connection that it's a similar connection. Maybe you can ask somewhere like a friend or a LinkedIn connection that knows this guy. Maybe he was working with him to tell you some kind of feedback. So if you, in order to not be on the spot when you hire someone when it's not going well, you have to be sure that you did everything that you could in the past for hiring the right person. So CV screening, trying to find somebody who has feedback for this guy, who works for him. LinkedIn is very easy to find that the companies that he work. Maybe you have someone that is working there. Maybe or previous customers that he worked with when he's on a B2B basis, when he's a freelancer. Can you give me some references from your customers that you have had? Maybe one or three that are saying you're okay. Then when everything is okay, you hire this guy, and when then something is not right, you have to talk to him and you have to set clear expectations. So we talked about this, we talked about that. You have to give him a target. You have to give him a target. It can be leads, it can be revenue in the month or in the week. It can be meetings. You can attend those meetings to see, is this meeting a really good meeting? Is it reliable? Or is it just, hey, how is the weather? And yeah, do you like your coffee black or something like this? The meetings are a very good way to know customer if he's really interested or just knocking his head and don't saying anything. And yeah, well, I will call you. Yeah, I'm gonna think about it. You can say that, but you have to set clear metrics. So you have to be honest with him. You don't have to be a dictator or yeah, I'm gonna fire you, and I'm gonna hate you, and then I'm gonna put a bad comment in the internet. You have to be honest with him and say, okay, this is my business or my team. I put a lot of work and I'm jeopardizing here my money, my savings, my mortgage, or I have a credit for this business or an angel investor. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose to go to bankruptcy or be unemployed. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and these are my expectations. These are my expectations. They have to be realistic. So you cannot say to some, okay, I have 10 followers on LinkedIn and I'm one person company created 3 months ago, and I want 10 leads from you. I want all Fortune 500 to be my customers. It's not realistic. So realistic targets, metrics, and expectation are, and you have to give them a time frame that, okay, I'm gonna need you to do this in this month or in the first quarter, and then we're going to review. And if the you have to say from the start, I'm not gonna lie to you, if the metrics are not like this, I have to let you go, not because I'm a bad person or you're a bad person, because I have to survive somehow. It's not my fault. I'm not greedy, because I have to survive somehow, to pay my electricity, to pay my social benefits to the state, because the state wants it from me, not because I'm greedy. So this is, you have to be honest, and you have to find a guy with a heart willing to help you, willing to not lie to you at the beginning. I'm gonna do everything, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and here 1 million in the first year, and some TED talk quotes, and saw it on some self-help books or the Wall Street Walk, the movie. He has to be honest with you, and you have to be honest with him.
Do you know some red flags in a CV that shows, oh, that might be a bad salesperson?
Yes, yes, I know, because I'm doing also recruitment for a couple years, and tens of thousands of CV are going through my eyes. One thing that not only me, all the companies on the market, the first thing that I was seeing is, I'm not have not invented these rules. I'm just saying how it is. The first thing that they see is, are you a job hopper or not? That means, do you switch your employer every couple months or every year? Do you start somewhere and then go 1 or 2 months after that? Maybe it is not true. Maybe it was not your fault. Every human being in his life was somehow lied to, or had a bad manager or something. Maybe it was not your fault. But to do it every time, it, that means two things. First, you don't have real expectation from employer, or you cannot pick the right companies, or the problem is you. So the first thing that all the companies are looking is the that you're not a job hopper. The second thing is that they are seeing if you're on your current position at least 2 years. These are rules that are not written, but they are real and they exist. At least 2 years with your previous, with current employer, and in the past not changing a lot. This is a red flag. The other red flag is when you see on an online meeting or in-person meeting, when you see that this person has some issues. I mean, ego issues or mental issues. Yeah, yeah. Or some kind of, he's like speaking too much, or is constantly trying to oversell his abilities, no stop saying that he's the best and he's the one. No matter if you are in sales or if you want to land a job, you have to be human. This is very important. And yeah, you have to explain, not lie. You have to explain, okay, I switched a job 4 months, or in 5 months. You have to explain it. Was it your fault? Was it your employee's fault? Was it the market's fault? Did you get laid off? So there are so many reasons that this can happen, but you have to be honest.
Let's imagine this entrepreneur asks for the sales call to be recorded to evaluate the quality of the salesperson. So, what would be the red flags for that? Like the mistakes in the sales call that you could say, okay, it seems like this salesperson is not that good.
Recording sales calls is a very normal and everyday procedure. It is, you don't have to do it every call, but it's a very normal procedure. It gives boost to the sales guy to work more and to be more productive, and it gives you an insight, because when you talk, it's always different when you see and when you talk, because when you are in the stress, you try to convince someone to trust you. You try to land a deal. You are under stress. There is always some kind of stress, no matter how experienced you are. And sometimes you this stress is not your friend. And when you have someone watching neutral on the side and it's invisible, it's very good for you also to see yourself from a neutral perspective, and so you can be better, and the person who is watching you can direct you to be more productive. So I'm recording sales calls. It's a very good topic, and I'm 100% for that. The red flags. The red flags. So a red flag is when you try to outtalk the potential customers in many cases, when you don't give him the word, when you try to oversell you or your company or your product or services, when you don't adjust. This is also a red flag for me. When you have, for example, three things and the customer say okay, those two things I definitely don't want, and I don't have room for that, or I don't, it's not my business. But the third thing, can you try to make some sales moves and to cross sell or upsell or something like this is also red flag. So you have to see that no means really no. I mean, when you feel it, no means no. Don't go further. And it's not like in the movies. When I hear no, I hear 100 times no, and then one yes is enough. No, it's not. In reality, it's not, no means no. I mean, the people that are investing your time, their time for your business meeting, are so busy, and they invest in their life. They invest in minutes of their life that they will not get back. So you have to make those minutes worth it. So when someone says no, and he really means no, and you feel it, it's no, you don't have to go further. And this is also a red flag, to be too pushy, to oversell everything, to try to sell something that is okay but not super, to sell it like it's the best thing on earth. And the other thing is to not, it's also red flag for me, to not be appropriate dressed. So no matter what you're selling, you not be with a sweater and then like this, and then poking your nose. You have to look as a salesman, to see as a salesman, and be trustworthy. So there are many red flags that are really red flags, and they have to be considered.
Yeah, honesty is the only way to go, because also, even if you acquire a client with telling some lies, it will catch up with the company, and the client will be disappointed that the reality is not as good, and you get bad reviews. The client leaves, and it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. It's honesty is the best thing that you can do in our century. It's it to be honest in your abilities is really the best thing that you can do, because people are used to be lied, and they are used to lies all the time from everywhere. And when they say, "Whoa, this guy is telling the truth, he's honest, wow, I want to hear what this guy has to say." And yeah, this is the most important weapon that we have in sales, business development, in personal life, in everything.
Yes, I agree. So there are a few ways how a person can sell, but I think for startups, it's oftentimes either networking event, or even more common, in a written form first, like on LinkedIn, for example, and then to try to have a call with this person. We discussed the part with calls already in detail. Let's cover a little bit of what should you consider when you try to sell in a written form on LinkedIn, for example.
This is also a very important topic. And I don't know why, but many of the people that are very intelligent and experienced people are making these mistakes uh, as of today also. They are putting the first message like a two-pager. This is the biggest mistake that you can make on LinkedIn. The biggest mistake. Nobody will read that. Nobody care, and you read 5 words and then you don't have an interest anymore. People will, and they don't have time to read tens and hundreds of messages that are like a two-pager, like a dear and here and there, and we are incredible to announce and that. No, people, no matter if you are doing business development, sales, or if you're doing recruitment, people want to know only what do you want in a couple, maximum in 2 or 3 sentences. I'm Mr. Smith. My company is called X. We are making Y. Do you have time for a meeting? Because I saw this. Best regards. Like this. This is, you also get rejected like via the cold calls. The rejection rate is always above 90% in these cases, because it's normal. People don't want you, they don't want anyone else. They have enough subsidiaries, they have enough B2B guys or freelancers that they have enough, they don't need anymore. But this is the right approach. If you start putting two pagers on LinkedIn and trying to communicate like this, you will lose. And so many experienced guys are doing this. No matter recruiters, I get messages all the time like this, like this, and also links and a two pager and then a link and then some kind of presentation and no, wow. Nobody will react to that, really. Nobody that is your potential customers. I mean, someone who doesn't have anything to do will maybe read it, but just like, because he don't has to do anything. And so you have to be straight to the point, no fuss, straight to the point. The next very important thing is to do is to know is you're not there to chat. You're not there to chat. You're there only to take somehow the relationship to the next level. It's exactly like in the person life. It's exactly like in dating. It's exactly like you just have to make the connection and then try to get out of there, to go to an online meeting, to try to take the email, to try to take a phone number, to try to get out of the chat. So you have to do it with at least, you have to do it with total maximum 2 or 3 messages. If you go further, you will lose. I mean, the probability that you are losing after 2 or 3 messages is almost 100%. You have to suggest right away to go outside of the chat and to meet, no matter an online call, in person, a phone number, an email, and then to make it further and to try to impress further and try to make the relationship better. And this is the most important part in LinkedIn.
Let's say we have someone who is willing to have a call with us after talking with him on LinkedIn. Could you give some advice for the call? How should you start? How should you prepare? And which mistakes should you avoid?
You have to start as a very normal call, like any other call that you have, friendly. You have to introduce yourself. You have to introduce yourself. You have to be polite. So, for example, hello, Mrs. Smith. My name is Blago. We talked on LinkedIn with you about this topic. Is the time appropriate? When she or he says okay, it's not okay. Can I call you 15 minutes or 20, or I will call you, or you call me in 1 hour because I have lunch, I have a meeting. You say okay, and then one more time you have to repeat it. Okay, you can call me in 15 minutes, or I will call you in 1 hour, and then have a great day. The mistakes that can be made are the same mistakes that can be made in every phone call. To try, oh, I'm really quick, I'm gonna say this and that, I'm from this company, and we talked about LinkedIn. Did you saw our presentation? No, you're gonna get blocked at the end. It's the same. You have to be different from the others. You have to be different from the others, and you have to take your time. You have to invest in this relationship. This is the only way. It's not easy, but will the right people for you will notice it and will forward your relationship to the next level. Business relationship in this case.
So let's say this person has the time. We continue with the call. So what else
Yeah,
is important?
it's important to start because our brains cannot remember everything, every message, and every potential lead. You have to start from the start. Hello, Mrs. Smith. My name is Blago. We talked on LinkedIn about this topic. Is the time convenient for you? Yes, you can talk. Okay. We talked on LinkedIn about that. We think we are the right person for you because this XYZ. We saw you have to research your company. Because not every person is willing to tell you all the information like they're on an exam. So what is your revenue? How many people do you have? Is your IT department 15 or 20%? Do you have this? Do you have that? Where is your location? You have to know that. And you have to say, okay, I saw, for example, I saw on a job site, you are searching for this and that, you're searching for a development lead, or you're searching for a B2B influencer or whatever, and you have to say with their own words what they need, and then see what the other side has to answer. But they have to know that you made your research, that you know that you're calling this company X, and this is the company X that you really research. You know where they are, you know what they do, you know who this person is. Not as, for example, it's not the secretary, it's the team leader. You have to know who this person is, what they are doing, and their needs. You have to know their needs because you're calling there to help this company with your product or services, and you have to know their needs.
Do you try to establish a relationship, and how do you do that in such calls?
Like I said, that you have to trust your feeling. You have to adjust and adapt in matter of seconds. I don't think it's something that can be taught 100%. It's something that you have in it. You have in you. It's something that you can catch within seconds, that you can hear something, and or the potential customer can say something, or you can start to negotiate the ice. But it's not a perfect formula. It's not a perfect formula. When I say something like, oh, how is the weather now in the UK? Is it raining? But maybe it's not appropriate. Maybe you have to feel it. It's maybe something different. Maybe we went there. Maybe your brother or your sisters went a month ago to see a concert there. Maybe you can use that. You have to feel it to somehow break the ice. The potential customer must see you as not as a robot who is a corporate robot calling customer lead number, not customer number or name number, lead number, Excel lead number 3. They have to see you as a person who is calling another person and knows why he is calling.
Yeah, makes totally sense. And I think with practice, when you have 20, 50 such calls, then you get a better feeling after a while. How do you continue? Like, you are at the end of the call with the prospect. How do you close, or what do you do in the end?
It's the end is very important. Also, there is no part that is not important, but in the end, you have to summarize everything. You have to summarize everything. This is very important. You have to summarize the whole thing that you talked about. You have to summarize the bullet points that are important for you. And the most important thing is you have to set up the next step. You have to set up. You don't you will, when you leave a call without next steps, you made a mistake. So you summarize everything, and then after repeating everything, summarizing everything, set the clear next step. So, Miss Smith, we talked about X and Y, and you said that you're going to be 150 pieces of it by the end of Q2, and we will be happy to assist you with that. And let's say we can make another meeting in 1 week. How is that for you? How does it sound for you? Is it okay or is it too early? And then the customer will respond. Okay, I can see my schedule. I have here free. Not next week, after the week after that. Okay, you can send me the invite. Here is my calendar. Have a great day. It was nice talking to you. You have to be polite. You have to be human. Not I'm gonna say it for the fifth or sixth time. You have to be human. This is something that is very important.
How do you deal if the customer or prospect is saying, I have to think about it?
Handling objections is another big topic, and it has also to do with experience, with confidence, with emotional intelligence. With I have to think about it is a common objection. It depends on the timbre of the voice that is set. It depends on what he's going to think about it. Is he going to think about the meeting? Is he going to think about your product? Is it level one thinking about it, or is it going to think about rejecting or accepting your offer? Where is your stage in this relationship? So the think about it can be something bad, can be also something good. It depends on where your relationship and stage of the lead is, and how what is he talking about. Okay, you can think about it. Maybe you can ask some question. You can think about you mean the meeting. Is it not okay for you Thursday? We can make it Tuesday. Then he has to elaborate and he will be more specific. Then you can see what he really means by that. And yeah, but if he is willing to make another meeting, he is interested. He will not, the company will not lose time and you will not lose time because your time is also as much so valuable as the company's time. So you don't have to waste each other's time. It's not something bad, it's just time management. It's something good for both sides. It's a win situation.
So you shouldn't force it. If the
No,
client is not interested, that should be it.
no.
There are many
If
other prospects.
yeah, if you're 100% sure he is not interested and he's saying it a couple times, or he's trying to raise his voice, I'm not interested, or something like this, or oh, okay, okay, I'll think about it. Okay, you can call my secretary. It's depending on the timbre or on how he's saying it. Is depending on the lead stage that you are. Is he trusting you? Did you have a call with him? Was the call 3 minutes? Was it 30 seconds? Did you have maybe an online meeting 30 minutes that you talked about and reduced yourself? You say something about you, they say something
Mm.
about them. I mean, from the personal life or from the business life. Maybe he would like to ski, maybe he would like to go to snowboard. It depending on the stage.
As a last topic, we can maybe quickly discuss so a networking event. They can be, I think, pretty effective because, like for B2B startups, especially where you want to meet the person in flesh and understand which kind of person I'm dealing with. It's all about trust. Can you give some advice here how to behave, how to speak with people, and so on?
Yes, the face to face is for me the best way, absolutely the best way for me to make connections, to make leads, to receive contacts, and to have a sustainable future for your company. This is the best way. I'm going to say it one more time. Face to face is the most different way because it you have to invest a lot more, but it's the best way for every company, no matter what. All the companies and all the branches in the world have exhibitions in their sector. No matter if you're selling agriculture machines or if you're a IT out company, no matter they have seminars, exhibitions. This is the best way for you to make contacts, to make sales. I will sell an example. When you make online or cold calls or cold emails or whatever tool you use, or like helper AI tools that are sending emails to potential customers, no matter what you use, your rejection rate will be more than 90%. And in person is the best chance that you can get. But in person, you have to invest more. That means you have to go out of bed, you have to take a shower, you have to put some nice clothes, depending on an event, depending on the sector, the business sector that you're in. You have to take transport over there. When it's not in your city, you have to go there. When it's a big event and you can afford it, you can. There are pretty. There are many companies that can fly you low cost only with your bag. I mean, with your documents in your bag, you don't have to have big luggage with you. So there is a exhibition in another country that is so valuable to you that you want to go. You have to invest, you have to go there, you have to sleep there, you have to eat there. And when you go to the exhibitions, this is your best chance that you will get. And this is the hardest to do. In the 50 years ago or 35 years ago, it was something that it was pretty normal. But now people are used with computers. They used to communicate through computers, and the most difficult thing for them will be a face to face, because the things that you are doing on the cold call, you have to do it face to face, with your face there, with your eyes there, and you have the customer 50 centimeters or 2 meters from you, and you have to talk. You have to start the talk from zero. They're not expecting you. They're there to try sell things, or try to get customers, or maybe they want to make some contacts, and you have to know how to deal with that. So first of all, yeah, we all have LinkedIn. We can scan our LinkedIn profiles via phone on exhibitions, etc. Fast way, but most of the people that are really the decision makers are people that are traditional old school guys, that will be better than the rest when you go and give them a card. It's something that almost nobody is doing on a web. Some of the people are doing it, but not so many. But when you give a card, when you give a business card, you have to have cards with you, and you don't have to put it in your bag. And like, because in the best the decisions that you can make, or the prospects that you will get, are depending on seconds. The decisions that you are making in life that we will win after that are not decisions that we have 1 hour to think, or 3 days to think, or 1 month. They're in seconds. So when you stop someone and try to introduce yourself, they have meetings, they have another customers, they 10 people are waiting behind you to do the same thing as you. And when you start, oh, here is my bag, just 1 second, oh, oh, here is the sandwich, just let me search. And the moment is gone. You have to prepare yourself before that. So to win in life, everything in life is free. You have to be ready. You have to put your here. You have to just, and then in 1 second, you will get the information. And if you get it, you can talk. In this 1 or 2 seconds, you can talk and say, okay, Mr. Smith, here is my business card. I'm Blago, and I flew all the way from Bulgaria here to Germany just to meet people like you. And I think we have something in common, and we think we can talk about this topic, because I'm pretty sure we can be here on the same page. And then, if you do it 100 times, you will see you're gonna get a natural way for this. It's very difficult to go in person. You say, oh, now he has something to work. I see that they're writing something, or they're speaking to another people. It is like this. It is like this. Yeah, maybe mail will try later. You have to know where to draw the line and where to go ahead. But people will always stand up when they do it like this, because they see, oh, this is a nice guy. I can trust him. He flew all the way from his country. He gave me a business card. He introduced himself. He's looking reliable. He's looking good. He is intelligent. He's looking like he's having success with the thing that he's doing. Maybe I will listen to them. What? Maybe he has an idea how we can work together, and that's it. Just to be human again.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I was standing too long with some people. We had a conversation. So, can you tell me, like, advice? When is it too long to stay with one person, or is there no, like, if you are bonding, then it's okay to stay a bit longer?
You have to feel it.
Mhm.
It's like a feeling. You have to feel it when the conversation is dying, when you shoot all your bullets that you have. And the most important thing when you go there is not to stay with one guy or one company 1 hour or 2 hours or talk and go drinking beers. Your actual main target and focus is to go and try to take as many leads as you can and as many contacts as you can. That means you go there, you shoot your bullets, you get the context profile or the card, you have a little small talk. When you see it's not appropriate because there are so many guys wanting to talk to this company or potential customers, you get out. And this is very important because your main target is to collect leads. And then when you're back home on your computer, then you put everything that you get, and one by one you have to send a mail or a call or whatever you made as a next step. The rule for the next step is also the same. You have to set clear next steps. Okay, Mr. Smith, thanks for your time, thanks for your card. I'll be calling you, or we're gonna do an online meeting. I'll be writing to you. I'm gonna send you an email when I'm gone, when I'm back home. And you have to have next steps. You have to do it. It's very important, not just taking the contact and then running away and then, oh, who is this guy? What does he want from me? You have to set up next steps. And it's really the most powerful way. So my advice, when people can afford it, go find exhibitions that are okay for you. Try to meet as many people as you can. Try to take contacts, and the right people will come to you. You get also rejections. It's the same as with the cold callings. You then get back home with 20 or 22 contacts, or 12. Maybe 7 or 8 of them you'll make an online meeting and you decide that it's not okay. You not gonna They don't want you, or you don't want, or you cannot give the service or the price that they want. And this is okay, but the right people, it can be one or two or three leads, will go further, and you'll have connections, and you're gonna build that connections. Maybe they'll trust you a little project just to see. And then if you go do job, then they trust you a little bit more. And then they trust you with the whole project. They outsource the whole thing. Everything is possible, but it's possible when you intervene with people face to face.
Amazing. You gave so much valuable advice. I think an entrepreneur has now pretty good idea and some inspirations how to start. I think we made the best out of the limited time we had. There is, of course, we could spend 10 more hours to go into detail of each area. Yes, thank you so much for so much valuable advice. What would you like the audience to do? Would you like to connect on LinkedIn, or how can the audience profit from you? Maybe a cooperation, work with you, hire you?
Yeah, through LinkedIn. Through LinkedIn is the best way.
Mhm.
They can see my profile. I can see theirs. If we it was it When it's meant to be, it is meant to be.
Yeah, you are. Which kind of services could you offer to our listeners?
We offer software development, recruitment in all kinds of the sectors: IT recruitment, BPO, business process recruitment, outsource, and so the 360 recruitment cycle, and software development from A to Z. So from
Mhm.
scratch, we have developers, we have small teams, mid teams, we have also freelancers. Maybe they wanted a couple hours. We have everything in regarding software development, recruitment, and also, of course, services like business development, or we are making also legal advices when companies want to invest in Bulgaria, want to move to Bulgaria. We have also legal advices about taxes, about how to create a company, where to go, etc. So if it is meant to be, we're gonna do that.
Amazing. We will link to your LinkedIn profile in the description below, and hopefully, some of our listeners can profit from your expertise and from your services. Thank you so much. Bye bye.